destination for in-depth, week-to-week analysis of every NFL game. I am your host, Robert Pickford Jr. And together, we'll break down the matchups, highlight the playmakers, and give you the insights you need to stay ahead of every game. Welcome back to Sports Wrap. I'm glad to be here. I'm your host, Robert Pickford Jr. We have a lot of news in the NFL, NBA, and UFC. We're going to start with some NFL stuff. One thing that I like during the trade deadline was that Sauce Gardner two people get out of hell. Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. Quinnen's going to Dallas. Sauce is going to the Colts. The Dallas thing is non-consequential, but at least you just are treated better there, you know. In New York, you have no shot, no hope. Let's talk about teams with no hope. Atlanta Falcons, Cleveland Browns, New York Jets, Carolina Panthers. Although the Panthers are resurging, I don't know. We're going to keep an eye on that. New Orleans Saints, they're never going to win. Okay, moving on. I want to talk about the Jaden Daniels injury on Monday night in the fourth quarter when they were down by 21 points or more. That was ridiculous. It's like hell on earth kind of injury because your coach just won't do it and just won't replace you. He won't put the backups in. He won't run a different offense. He doesn't expand or contract. He doesn't adapt, nothing. This dude just gets people injured. And now he's remorseful. But if you saw the injury, the man he's like a stick figure. He tried to, whenever the best bet is to go down and ball up, he tried to reach out. And when he reached out, he blew the entire assembly on his non-throwing arm. So that means he tore every tendon in there in order to dislocate it and make it snap back in the other direction. So he's out for this year. He's out for a good portion of next year. They are screwed, blued, and tattooed. And so I just decided to bring up a little history about the Washington Reds. They're one of my favorite franchises. I love the logo until they changed it and they started calling themselves the Commanders. That's only been 3 years. Okay, so they're still basically the Redskins. All right, they have new owners just like the Broncos do. And new ownership is just moot. You know, unlike these other franchises, when they start showing the camera up into the box and there's Jeffrey Lurie, or there's the owner of Lamar Hunt Jr. of the Chiefs. Nah, you don't ever see the owner of these freakish teams, okay? That being the Washington Redskins. Now, they may have showed that dude once or twice when he first bought the team, but I ain't seen him since. Now, Magic Johnson has a part in that. And they said they were working on the name in the uniforms, but that's yet to be seen. Washington Redskins facts and history. Origins and early years. Founded in 1932 as the Boston Braves. Did not know that. Renamed the Boston Redskins in 1933. Moved to Washington, D.C. in 1937 and became the Washington Redskins. That was early in their history. Won NFL championships in 1937 and 42, the year my dad was born, 1942. Golden era championships. The Joe Gibbs era brought major success with 3 Super Bowl wins, 82, 87, and 91. And they did that with 3 different quarterbacks. Same coach, but he would switch it up every time. It was really their offensive line that were called the Hogs that got them by. They used to just blast people. Super Bowl, let's do the math on this. XVII, that would be 17. That goes way back. Super Bowl 17 in 82. Washington went 8-1 and won the championship. Oh, I think that was the strike year. Okay, the franchise has 3 Super Bowl titles, and 2 pre-Super Bowl NFL championships. Okay. Name and logo change came in 2020 because they were getting ostracized, criticized, run over by the bus. The team became the Washington Football Team 2021. They haven't had any success prior to the 90s, and up now they're running on 25, 30 years of sucking. Key facts and stats: 3 Super Bowl titles, 82, 87, 91, and multiple championships. Franchise leaders: John Riggins rushing, Joe Theismann passing, Joe Theismann for the Heisman. The team struggled between 46 and 70, so all teams go through that. Why the name change? Because they were getting hammered. Okay, we'll stop it. I wanted to talk about the Washington Redskins head coach real quick, or should I say the Washington Commanders, Dan Quinn. He's always fascinated me with how he keeps moving around in the league, and I don't know nothing about him, so I downloaded some information because I don't think he should be coaching the Redskins. And I think it's a bit of nepotism, a little bit of racism, a little ism going on with this dude. So he started as a defensive line coach at William Mary, 1994. He seems like he basically has a job. This dude is good with moving around. He has a new job every year or every other year. So starting in 94, defensive line coach, William and Mary. 95, defensive line coach, Virginia Military Institute. 96 through 99, defensive line coach, Hofstra. So his specialty was defense, which I didn't know. 2000, defensive coordinator for Hofstra. Okay, so he was defensive line coach for Hofstra and defensive coordinator. So he basically worked there for 4 years. Then he moved on to the NFL, defensive line coach for San Francisco, defensive quality control coach, which means he's just learning. San Francisco 49ers, defensive line coach, Niners, Dolphins, Jets, every year, 2003, 2005, 2007, 2009. So he went from the Niners, Dolphins, Jets, Seahawks, and that's where it got interesting with the Seahawks, because he was the defensive coordinator when they had the Legion of Boom, and I did not know that. From basically, the Legion of Boom was formed around 2012 to 2011 to 2014-ish. They collected these players. Okay, so that's where he got the juice. Everybody was like, oh my God, he had the Legion of Boom, when in reality it was the players, Richard Sherman, Browner, I can't think of all the names right now, but they were just stacked. Okay, so then they hired him, head coaching jobs. They hired him at Atlanta 2015, and that's where it turned into a crapshoot for me. He led the Falcons to Super Bowl LI, which is the 2016 season where they played New England. Now on that team of coaches, they also had young Shanahan. So they had Quinn and Shanahan. They got up on Brady 28-3 and gave that game away. They never scored again. They never ran the ball. To me, that game was fixed. That's one of the reasons why I can't get down with the Brady super GOAT. That doesn't work for me. I mean, Tom Brady's a really good quarterback, but him and Manning neck and neck, there's no difference there. You could take either one of them dudes, okay? Led Seattle's defense 2013, 2014 to top NFL rankings, which they were. Ended up getting to the Super Bowl and just destroying the Denver Broncos. I'll never forget that game. And since then, he's been hired on. He just everywhere he goes, he's just not doing well. I don't think he should be coaching like that. I think he needs to go back to helping, not leading. Okay, we're back. We're going into Denver Broncos versus Las Vegas / Oakland Raiders. Another fiasco, tragedy franchise. The biggest tragedy franchises. San Francisco 49ers, Washington Redskins, Dallas Cowboys, New York Jets, Las Vegas Raiders, and Cleveland. There's no winning there. And that's why they send people to those teams to punish their players. Can you dig it? Oh, you want to go out and party? You're not listening. We'll send you to the Jets. We'll send you to Cleveland. Last place teams in the NFL. New York Jets, Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans, another dumping spot for players. Las Vegas Raiders, I don't even know what that garbage is. New York Giants, Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints, Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is, he's out of there. I felt that coming last year. New Orleans Saints, Spencer Rattler, whatever his name is, that's not going nowhere. Minnesota Vikings, up and down, up and down, up and down, but constantly 500. New York Giants, another storied franchise, 2-7. Brian Big Fat Dable, horrible coach. Horrible! I have to eat some crow real quick, ladies and gentlemen, about the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are currently 7-2 with a winning percentage of .778. I don't like the coach. I'm not necessarily happy with the ownership, but I'm going to ride with it. 7-2, but it's about to come off the rails. And I'm not wishing, I hate against the Broncos and all that. It's kind of artificial. So, Denver Broncos versus Las Vegas Raiders, facts and history. Rivalry overview. First meeting, October 2nd, 1960. Wow. It was before I was born. 5 years before I was born. All-time series. Raiders lead the series overall, including postseason. I can't believe that, because the Broncos have been laying a foot to their rear end for the last 10 years. Division rivalry. Both teams have shared the AFC West division since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970. Locations. The Broncos haven't been anywhere. They've been here the whole time since 1960. Raiders, Oakland, Los Angeles, Oakland, Las Vegas. That's a joke. They started in Oakland. They moved to Los Angeles they literally won the Super Bowl in 82, and then they relocated the team in 83. I'll never forget that. With Marcus Allen. Then they went back to Oakland. Then to Vegas. Garbage. Historical notes. AFL era, 1960 to 1969. Raiders dominated early, winning all the matchups, or most. It says most, but pretty much all. John Madden era, 69 to 78. Raiders were one of the best teams in football, often defeating the Broncos. 1977, the Broncos broke through with a 12-2 record and beat the Raiders. Wow, they went 12-2 in 1997 and beat the Raiders in the AFC Championship game. I never will forget that. I was over at my grandmother's house on 31st Avenue, and I remember people celebrating and running up and down the streets. 1980, a balanced decade. Both teams traded wins with memorable clashes between Elway and the Raiders defense. It was John Elway versus Howie Long. 1990 through 2000, 10 years, one decade. Rivalry intensified with Al Davis and Mike Shanahan-led Broncos. I remember that. And Mike Shanahan tried to have somebody throw a ball and hit him in the head. He said, don't hit him, just graze him. That's right, because Shanahan was working with Al Davis, and then Al Davis fired him. God dang it, I forgot all about that. Wow. Okay, Denver, let's see. Rivalry intensified with Al Davis's Raiders and Mike Shanahan-led Broncos. Denver's back-to-back Super Bowls, 97-98, which was sweet, coincided with strong performances against the Raiders. Modern era, 2010 to present. The rivalry remains fierce, with close games often regardless of records. Since moving to Las Vegas in 2020, the Raiders have had a slight upper hand in the head-to-head matchups. I wouldn't have guessed that. Memorable matchups, 77, 93, 2011. Tim Tebow led an upset win in Oakland during his short but iconic run. 2021, Raiders spoiled Broncos' playoff hopes in emotional games following the passing of John Madden. Oh, wow. Okay. Rivalry legacy. I have the Broncos winning this game by 10 points. I don't know what the spread on this game is. This is a Thursday night game. This is an easy game for the Broncos. This is a home game, I do believe. Let me check that real quick. Yeah, this is a home game for the Broncos. Should be easy pickings. Slim pickings. Okay, welcome back. Let's get to our picks section. Pro Football Pick'em. Brought to you by nobody, and we're sponsored by nothing. Brought to you by nobody, so you don't have to hear any crap. Okay, starting off with the Las Vegas Raiders at Denver. We discussed that. That's null and void. The Raiders, even with the new coach, Tom Brady guiding them, they just blow. No coordination. I like Ashton Genty, the running back, but then I like the tight end. They just don't have it. They just can't put it together. You don't name a player on the Raiders defense. Tick tock tick. Nobody. Okay. Atlanta Falcons at Colts. Colts are my new team. This is in Berlin. Atlanta Falcons versus Indianapolis Colts in Germany. I got the Colts. New Orleans Saints against the Panthers. I got the new look Panthers. New York Giants at Chicago Bears. I got to go with the Bears, even though I don't like the way the Bears are playing. We have, I missed one here. Jacksonville Jaguars at Houston, Texas. The Jaguars just acquired the Raiders receiver Jacoby Myers in a trade because Travis Hunter has been put on injured reserve. So we have the new look Jags going against Houston. Oh yeah, we're going with the Jags because, as we discussed, C.J. Stroud is out. We don't know when he's coming back, and they were already struggling anyway. They have a great defense, but that lasts for 2.5 quarters. Like, they'll shut you down for 2.5 quarters. But after that, you're on your own. Okay, we got Buffalo Bills at Dolphins. Bills. Ravens at Vikings. I'm going to have to go with the Vikings. They're just fresher. The Ravens are out of gas. Switching quarterbacks back and forth. Now, if Lamar magically comes back, we may have to eat our words. But even then, I don't think they can win. Cleveland, I'm forced to pick between the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets. And it's at New York. I'm going with Cleveland. I hope they stomp a mud hole in those weird green uniforms that they have. New England Patriots at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the game of the week. 7-2 versus 6-2. I just looked that up. I was like, what the what? New England's traveling down to Tampa. That's a concern. Tampa's playing good, but New England's playing better, but Tampa's at home. What do you do there? What do you do there? What do you do there? I'm going with New England. They are just red hot right now. Arizona at Seattle. We're going with the Seahawks. That's my other team. We got the Colts and the Seahawks are my squads, along with dummy Denver, the Donkoids. I never used to call them that, but now I know why they call them that, because they're just flatulent. They're obtuse. Okay. We got Los Angeles Rams at San Francisco 49ers. We're going with the Rams. Detroit Lions at Commanders. Commanders are cooked. We talked about that at the top of the show. They're just cursed, upside down, weird, new ownership. Dan Quinn as a coach. Okay. Detroit Lions over Commanders. Steelers at Chargers. Philadelphia at Green Bay. We got 2 games of the week. Patriots at Buccaneers. Eagles at Packers. That's a tough one. They're both winning their divisions. I mean, you almost have to go with the home team there. So we're going with the Packers. That wraps it up for week 10. Much love. I love everybody. Be safe on the roads. People are crazy out there. I didn't get to that UFC news. Basically, the UFC got caught cheating, gerrymandering matches, and then they're saying that it goes back away. So we'll keep an eye on the UFC news. We hope Jaden Daniels is okay. We're still Tyreek Hill dislocated his knee. We haven't had any Tyreek Hill news, so we got dudes scattered out all over the league, busted up, hurt. And this is the new NFL where they don't let you get hit. And people are falling funny, and their arms and knees are coming apart. So we'll just say a prayer. Okay, that's it for week 10. Much love. Have a good day.